this weekend, baby. Fury FC 80 is going down. Are you excited?
Always.
This is the best damn card.
Been looking forward to this one for a long time.
We say that every time we have a card. This is the best one.
This is the best one.
The best one.
I mean, but when you go down, when Rich goes down the lineup, though, I mean, tell me it's not.
Look, the undercard itself, like the prelims that we have, is better than a lot of pro shows in general. Better in the United States, not just like Texas. Just in general, it's better than most pro shows. And then like the talent on it, like you've got Joseph Aguilar, Dominic Perez, Alex De La Cruz, John Patrick, Garrett Foster, Sean Kennard, Gabriel Wanderland, Riley Melanson.
Oh, that one I'm really looking forward to.
That one, that fight didn't make the Fight Pass card. And those kids are two outstanding prospects.
I saw Wanderlei at Reed's first show, and he fought Demas Choppa, and he took his back like quick and rear naked choke.
That's impressive, man.
And then we gave him Karan Reed.
Yep. Tough as nails, yeah.
Choked Karan.
Wow.
So he's coming back and he's fighting Rylan. And Rylan's tough as shit from Louisiana.
Yeah, he is. Hey, that extra sexy voice you hear joining us today is the one and only Kru Bob Perez.
Hey.
The man, the myth, the mustache.
Thank you guys for having me.
Is here. How much time do you spend in the morning to get that right?
No time at all.
Like it's just
Fucking wakes up like that.
I kind of do wake up like that.
You've been doing it for a minute. Like
It's been like probably 6 or 7 years.
How would you look with no mustache?
Like an idiot.
Go
Man,
like
I
this.
look like an idiot now.
Do this.
But
No.
I look like
There you go.
kind of like Danny DeVito.
It's a little. I'm not gonna lie. When you did this before you went all the way, it was a little Hitlerish. Like, you got right there, and I was like,
terrible.
I was like,
And not everybody can rock that though. And if
No.
it works
Well,
perfect.
thank you, man. It started with a beard.
Yeah.
And my wife didn't like the beard, so I'm like, well, let me just
To
do
be
this.
to be clear, you can grow a full beard. Like
Oh,
because
yeah.
I've seen you with the full beard.
Absolutely.
It's a good beard,
Yeah.
solid
I
beard.
look like some old
'Cause-
like Russian guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you ever noticed what I do, Diego? Oh,
At this point,
man,
though,
look.
the mustache is like, it's its own brand almost. Like
That's-
you
yeah,
got
I
like
mean,
the CBD gummy line.
I had it. COVID killed it, but it was doing really well. It was doing really well. But yeah, it's kind of one of those things. Like it's kind of a part of me now.
Yeah. No.
Rich tried to do that last week.
I heard he got in trouble by
Yeah,
the
he
old
got-
lady, man.
He got the no thanks from
It didn't look
Samantha.
quite like that.
Well, no. That's groomed.
Rich was more Fu Manchu.
Yeah, I was rocking a dirty Fu Manchu of anger at towards.
So you had the beard and everything.
So I had the full beard and I hadn't shaved in a couple months. Probably hadn't shaved. It trim it up a
It's
little
been
bit.
about 30 days and it still hasn't
Yeah,
grown
that's
back.
it. Yeah. And I was walking in the hall. My wife like grabbed my cheek and she's like, "Hey, you need to trim this." And I don't know why that just pissed
him
me off. So I was like, "Oh yeah." And I went to the bathroom and said nothing. Nobody. Took out the clippers. Trimmed down to this Fu Manchu. And I
You're gonna get
walked
really
back
pissed
out.
now.
Yeah,
Perfect.
and she was like, "What is this? You're like an idiot." And then she was like, "Well, you're not going to keep it." I'm like, I wore it to the show the next day.
Embarrass me.
That's
my guy right here.
Hey, and then I get home and she's like, nicely asked. She's like, you need to get rid of that. I'm like, you know what? I agree with
That's
you.
it, man.
I
You
agree.
got to
'Cause
do it.
I look. If I don't have the full beard or like the shadow thing going on, like I look a little creepy, a little pedophile-ish.
Everybody asked
Yeah.
you though, was like, hey, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah,
You look good, man.
Every-
Baby face, looking all lean. and
Everybody,
shit. I'm
everybody
like,
said
man.
something. They're all like,
Lose
"Hey,
weight? Lose weight?
listen, you're usually fat as shit with a beard, and right now you just have this creepy mustache, and you look like you've lost some weight.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it wasn't just like, hey, you look good. I get to like, are you okay?
Do we need anything to help you? with
Yeah,
anything?
like
got
I'm,
cancer.
and I'm like, yeah. I'm like, guys, I'm not dying right now. Like, man, this thing won't play in the background. But either way, that's okay. I'm giving up on a Diego. If it doesn't play this time, I don't care. Main card. Let's get to this main card because I'm so excited. So, for Fight Pass, we do a run a show, and we have to write out like literally minute by minute how the show's gonna work. And so when I'm writing these out, I get the chance to kind of like revisit the card and kind of see what's going on. We'll talk sometimes about like, do you think we should move this to this or this to here to see like exciting fighter here, exciting fighting there. There was no need to move anything.
and keep in mind, like, we're supposed to do like 6 fights on the main card. And there's been some cards that they're just so damn good that we go 10 fights.
That's
amazing.
To be fair,
They don't tell us shit.
We don't charge him any extra for those extra fights either.
This dude since day one has not done exactly what they've said. If they're like, hey guys, you know what? We're signing you guys.
Overachiever.
Give us
That's
6
right.
shows. Give us 6 shows. We'll be great. Eric's like 13. Just say 13
you got
shows.
it. That's
you
it.
say 13 shows.
Selective
It's like,
hearing, man.
Are you going to say no to Fury FC 80?
yeah.
Look at this lineup.
It's
What are
worked.
we going to do?
It's worked.
Man, it's great. It's been cool. So starting the card off, Gabe Macario and Tyreek Malvo. This gonna be a banger.
It's definitely going to be a banger. Gabe's looking great. His opponent is tough as nails. He's
Yeah.
one of Tim's guys, and they're all well rounded. He's got a super fast right hand, good wrestling, good grappling. But Gabe has been looking on fire
has
lately.
Gabe had a boring fight?
Dude, that's the thing with Gabe. His record is, at 7-7. His record is really deceptive of how what a quality fighter he is.
Yeah.
And man, I've never personally seen him with a boring fight.
Do you think is that almost to his detriment sometimes? Like he's so good, and then all of a sudden you see him get dragged into this oh, you cracked me, I'm gonna crack you back.
I talked to him about that yesterday. I saw him yesterday. And I was like, what do you think? He's like, I'm going to try and get in and get out. I said, no, you're not.
No, he's not, dude. He's not.
I said, you're going to get it. You're going to turn this thing into a dog fight.
Absolutely. What I love about Gabe, though, is, most fighters are like, Coach, what does my record need to be to get to the UFC or blah, blah, all that stuff, which is normal. But Gabe is just he's like, Coach, I just want to enjoy the experience. He goes, if we get there one day, we get there one day. But he genuinely... he likes to compete. He likes to fight. He likes to test himself. And honestly, man, he's one of the kindest, sweetest guys you'll ever meet. Man.
The first time that he stood out to me was when it wasn't even like the Kron fight. I was watching him fight in Denver.
Shaquem.
Shaquem. Sorry, he came out to Denver, and I can't remember the kid's name. He was a veteran from out there.
He fought the Factory X guy.
Yeah,
he's a coach. Now.
Bloody War.
Yeah, and I think he took that on short notice.
It was short notice. This bloody war, and he's sitting there, and during this fight, dude, he's all smiles, like he's enjoying this crazy war that he's in. And like you said, outside of the cage, maybe one of the sweetest men. He's just such a nice guy.
He really is. And one thing that kind of threw me for a loop.
Jordan
To Tony.
Yep.
There you go.
Every Brazilian fighter I've had, man, they've had pretty rough upbringings, And I thought Gabe was always a fighter, but he was a rich kid in Sao Paulo. And he was like, Coach, I never thought I'd fight. I was scared of everything. And he goes, but once I figured it out that it's in me, man, it's in him for sure. For sure.
He's one of those guys too. Like he has sneaky good jiu-jitsu. Like if you don't know, his jiu-jitsu is very solid, very, very good. He's a very good fighter all the way around. But it's almost like he uses his jiu-jitsu just to get you back up so he can punch you some more. He's like,
you don't want to beat down.
Yeah, he's like, I don't want to. I'm not trying to roll around with you. I want to punch you in the face. Yeah. And he's one of those fighters, I think, that other fighters get excited about watching fight.
I think so, man. It's going to always be a dogfight. And at the end of the day, as a coach, that's all I can ask for is that we prepare properly and that you fight as hard as you absolutely can. And win or lose, it's all good.
Yeah, and he's got an absolute banger with Malvo, as you said. Big right hand, powerful, quick guy. This is going to be a fun fight. Second fight of the night, we got Justice Lamprez taking on the surging Markel Medeiros. Could be one of Medeiros' last fights with us.
I was going to say, man, he might get the call up after this, huh?
I wouldn't. Is he 5-1 or 6-1? 6-1. The kid's got everything that you want to see. Great hands, great confidence.
His only loss is a split from Santiago.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it could have went either way.
It was a very close fight. I'm excited for that fight. See Markel get back out here. Props to Justice for taking another tough fight back to back matches with us. H-Town boy Casey Jones makes that walk again, taking on Aaron Gomez. Cody Freeman returning, taking on Peter Caballero. How long has Cody been out now?
2 years. Right?
2 years. He and Val moved down here January 1st. They made a change, and he's looking amazing, man. Peter beat him very early in his career, and he's looking to get that back.
Wayne over here getting his howler head refill.
That monkey spirit in already.
Hey guys,
the only monkey that matters.
Don't forget the podcast is brought to you by Howler Head Whiskey. Live Oak vodka. We'll get that vodka in here soon to be
Trojan.
on the show.
Protect yourself at all times.
Trojan. We don't have Trojan.
I'm working on it.
Condoms. Are you just putting it out there? That's brought to you by Jordan Brand.
Trojan
Yeah.
condoms, making sure you never have to
look,
pull out.
right here.
I've got,
Space.
hey, if we do get Trojan as a sponsor, I've got a great idea for a
We're gonna
promo
put
spot.
one on Rich's head.
Well, I mean, we could do that too, but I don't know if anybody would want to see.
We'll
that.
just make videos of
I'll talk
Diego
off here 'cause
testing
I don't
them
want
out
anybody
everywhere.
stealing my idea, but I got a really good one for us.
That's perfect. Hey, we make videos of Diego testing them out at the spa. At the massage.
Oh wow.
Now that
You think Diego pays extra so he doesn't have to wear those?
Yeah.
the rest of our lovely
You ever had a
sponsors will
Filipino twist
enjoy
with a condom on?
being right
come
after
on.
that.
Absolutely.
Space City Collective. After all the TikTok. Thank you guys for the amazing gear you guys always put out there. Kimura Tattoo Company, private label bags. Who else am I missing? Oh, Sheath Underwear. Get your nuts in the right bag. And I don't know if that's the right tagline for them.
Yeah, I think
I like it.
I think you're freestyling that one.
Get your nuts in the right bag. Have y'all worn Sheath Underwear?
No.
It separates.
Yeah, I've seen that.
It
That's what it
separates.
does.
No, I'm assuming
When you're
not for everyone.
when
it
you're as
separates.
old as I am, stuff separates on its own.
Do you remember the first time you sat on the toilet and you skimmed it? You're like,
Like it was yesterday.
That water's cold.
oh man, that'll wake you up in the middle of the night. What were we doing? All right, so,
Freeman.
Cody Freeman, Peter Caballero. This is gonna be a fun fight. Two guys who just, man, they're good everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see the changes for Cody.
Cody's last fight was who? Vera?
I think it was
Carlos
Carlos Vera. It's been a minute.
It's been a while. It's been a while. But no, he's looking great, man. He's in shape. Putting in a few sessions a day. He's ready, and I think more than anything, we like Peter, man. I've known Peter for years. It's never personal, man. But he's gonna go in there and
It's going to be
do his
interesting
best
to see
to
what
win
Peter,
that fight.
What Peter comes back after that Cameron Smotherman
Yeah,
loss.
that's a tough one to come back from.
Got a
You know?
chip on his shoulder now, something to prove.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean he's coming back from being knocked out, and Cameron going up, getting called up.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I've got no Wi-Fi, so I'm going to assume that was his last fight. All right, on to the next one. We got Joey Azalea taking on the always dangerous Jacob Silva.
Jacob Silva.
Is there a fighter in Houston like more?
You could say the same thing that we said about Macario, about Jacob.
He's a 125 man. What
I think
a dog.
I
Never
think
been
the
in a
difference,
foreign fight.
the only difference I would say is that when you think of like Houston MMA, Jacob Silva pops in your head.
Absolutely.
Like Gabe Macario has been here, but he's also
Carlos
like
Ferreira's
he's traveled around the world. He's fought. He's not really from here. He is now.
Right.
But Jacob Silva from
I get what
fight
you're
number
saying.
one
Yeah.
through now pretty much has been in H-Town like
He's
banging it
kinda
out.
like-
Yeah.
And he's like the little man's Derek Lewis.
100%.
You read my mind. I was just about to say the same thing. Man, he's got that same rep.
He's built differently, man. That kid, that man now. I mean, I met him when he was a kid. We all did, but man, he's become just a great. I love seeing him like with his daughter. Man, he's a great husband and father, and just a hell of a fighter. He's just a good person.
Yeah, and blessed with some of the weirdest cardio like you've ever seen
That
from
kid
day
will
one.
never stop.
Day one, never gets tired. Always had that freaky power at
Oh my
125.
God. Bro, we fought him twice with Joe Trevino, and it was the one when they fought for your title.
Yeah.
When Garcia, when he you had to clear the building, and bro, he hit.
Remember that?
Joe wound up getting the choke on him. He got the rear naked, but before that, Jacob hit him with the hardest right hand, other than Derek Lewis, that I've ever heard or seen in my career.
Yeah.
And the moment he hit Joe, man, Joe's eye just. But man, that kid for 125 can crack, man.
So I've
Did you announce that card?
I had to have.
That was maybe 2011,
If
2010.
it was,
Do you remember him clearing the building?
if it was before 3, then I didn't.
This was a cage combat.
Yeah, it was back. Yeah.
It doesn't sound. Yeah, I don't think I was there for that
So
one. 2011.
I want to
wasn't
say
there.
Colin Wright versus Tony Orozco Jr. was the
That was with the
co-main.
knee. That was with the knee. I remember that.
That was a co-main, and that's what caused kind of
that's
a riot.
when the fight with the
Yeah,
was it his
because-
sister?
Yeah,
Who was
because
that?
because Tony Orozco's sister got crazy with somebody
Yeah.
because they called Tony a pussy
I
for
think
stopping the fight, and the girl pulled out a taser and started.
I
wow.
think if I remember correctly, that's where the picture that Barry Laminack took of Drew Ratajczyk having his beer
No,
like
that
knocked
was
out
at,
of his hand. Was that the
that
same one?
IMKF.
Was that IMKF?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, we're at 5 Bronco.
No one likes IMKF.
Wow.
That's not true.
That's the guy I used to work for.
Oh,
Remember you used to work for him? Y'all had the same haircut.
Oh, you remember they had the girls, alter ego girls?
Yes.
They would their
Had like
ring card
10
girls would
girls.
change characters.
I don't
during
remember that.
It was
bro,
this
they
is
had
when
like 10
remember Justin Leday broke the mic.
Oh wow,
He broke
that's
the
right.
mic.
I remember the promotion.
Yeah, he broke their mic at their event, and they tried to like charge a bunch of money for dropping the mic.
Who did he fight?
Ike Villanueva.
Mike Villanueva. Yeah,
Dude, if you think about like all of those different promotions that
Dude,
came
I
up,
remember around that time, so when we started in this, it started like at City Streets with Saul back in the day. Yeah, so you had Renegade, and then later he did Young Guns. But I remember in the like maybe 2007, 2008, Urban Rumble, you had
WGF.
yeah,
that was Sam
one of them,
Goldman.
Master
That was
P.
Sam Goldman. So it was Sam
Okay.
Goldman and Master
Oh,
P.
that's right.
We're doing those together because
Pasadena.
that is
Yeah,
where Derek
Pasadena
Lewis,
Convention Center.
Almost murdered Nick Mitchell.
That's right.
And Mitchell had to get stretchered out.
Nick Mitchell, former WWE guy. Right?
Yeah. So he was at the heat, this apex of all the juice you could be on. Like every
there
bit
was
of
no
juice.
drug testing.
No
No,
drug
man.
testing. Wild West, man. And
Allegedly juiced, I think.
the main event was Sam Hoger and Jonathan Ivey. And those guys fought. Yeah, that happened. And I remember going into this fight. It almost made. I think Mitchell had 3 or 4 fights. I think Derek had one at that point. And from the first punch Derek hit him with, you could tell Nick was like, "This is a terrible idea. Like, this is a terrible." And this was young Derek Lewis,
yeah.
who didn't know anything about controlling anything.
230 pounds at the time.
Dude
Yeah.
just cracked everything. Pants falling off, ass cheeks hanging, like just cracking everything. And I remember like Nick getting to the back, and then he's on a stretcher. He's like, he doesn't know where he's at. They're bringing him out of there. And all I can remember thinking was like, God, because I think like 2 weeks later was the 4-ounce grappling tournament that they did.
Yeah, at Earl Gym.
And I remember like the sign up list, and me and Drew had signed up for it. And like Derek was, and I was like, "Fuck that."
Yeah, I remember he did that.
I was like, "No, man."
Dude, I don't mean to be long winded, but the Sam Hoger Ivy fight.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys were there or you would remember this. After weigh-in, so Ivy gets naked on the scale. Didn't have to, but he got naked.
Chooses to.
Then he
wanted to prove a point.
continued for maybe 10 minutes to walk around naked. It was insane. We just didn't even know. I mean, there were women, kids there. Like nobody said anything.
No.
It was wild.
Somebody
No.
probably should have.
Do you remember that?
I do. He's just a different
Rich was
dude.
looking.
I was sketching it out. I was like, all right. Like Ivy's a character. Like he'd always been.
He's
a
all
character.
tatted up, right?
Dude, yeah, he's got like "shut your mouth or lose your teeth"
pull him up.
tattooed, and
Wow.
I can't. The internet's not working for me.
Pull him up. Come on, Diego, fix this shit.
Puma pants.
We got a message.
Well, you can sketch it
saying
out.
that
If you can't pull 'em up,
Comcast
I can sketch it out for
Memory.
sure.
30 minutes.
But Jonathan Ivey also
Comcast outage,
was one of the
30
first guys to wear the Jason Voorhees mask out.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he would wear the Jason Voorhees mask out, and he would have a machete that he'd walk out with. And then he's also Jonathan Ivey, man, out of Tennessee.
That dude was
Imagine this guy
wild,
walking
man.
around naked.
Hey, if you talk about
Can you
you
screenshot that?
No thanks.
you talk about like oddly good, down to earth, cool
41 and
dudes.
57.
Oh
record.
my goodness.
Wow.
That dude, like when you just want to like the hang, that dude's cool as shit.
Oh, yeah.
like super cool to lay back and talk with. Like I've hit him up a few times. Go out to like Nashville or something. He's like, "We got some hot chicken." I'm like, yeah, "I guess so, man." Yeah, he's a good dude, man.
That's
like
awesome.
a solid dude. Because I was at Militich then, and we were helping Sam get ready for that.
yeah.
Get ready for that fight.
Jesus.
And I remember
that was 124 2009.
Yeah.
yeah.
He's had about 30 fights since then.
That's not surprising. So, Jonathan Ivey, if you go look at him up, you'll find all these crazy moments he's had. He's the guy who did the rolling Imanari rolls continuously at Ken Shamrock.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was at USA MMA. He's dropped the people's elbow on somebody. He's done a drop kick. If the internet could work right now, oh my gosh, I would love to put Jonathan Ivey up on this screen right now.
Instead, we got Ike Villanueva.
Big Ike
Yes,
fixing a
frozen unloading.
knocking out Roger.
He's going to start this week, bare knuckle, man. We're going to start. He fights September 16th. He's made for that, man. He's made for that. So it's going to be good to have him back.
Is he with BKFC?
No, it's the other promotion. I don't
How
even.
many bare knuckle promotions?
I think there's
are
only
there?
2, but BKFC is the one that we just did. Our guy Austin Trout fought Diego Sanchez for that one. That was it's a legit card.
I'm trying.
Fury bare knuckle.
Fuck no.
Fuck no.
What about Fury slap?
No.
I don't
Fury
know.
slap
I
league.
I think the commission just now allowed it because it was going to happen last year and they didn't sign off on it.
Really?
So I think Ike's is actually going to be here. No, it's not in Texas, but I think it's getting close, if not already happened, where they're going to legalize it here.
Yeah, fuck that. Let me see if this will work.
No
here.
thanks from Eric Garcia on the
No thanks on that.
Fury bare
You know,
knuckle and Fury slap.
when
Arm wrestling, maybe?
no when
wants to watch that?
when it first started happening, I give up. Whatever.
Yeah.
When
Some
bare
folks
knuckle
have
first came around, like I remember thinking like, oh, this could be kind
What
of
a
cool.
good
man. Like
idea,
this could be
right?
like a
Yeah.
true representation. There's no gloves. You can't really just crack people. You got to like be smart about how you're doing it.
Right.
And then after the first one that I saw, I was like, dude, please don't do this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
train
it's
It is
wild,
just,
man.
how many stitches do you need?
It was wild. It is wild, man. I mean, the thing is, handbrakes. So you got to
Yeah.
be really selective going to the head, but working the body is always smart and bare knuckle, man.
Oh, we got. See, this Wi-Fi's not working, Diego. You broke
Yeah,
everything.
Diego gave us a memo. We're like 30 minutes
minutes.
away from having Wi-Fi.
Excellent.
Yeah, that'll work real well for the.
All right.
Thankfully, you've got that already loaded.
Hey, next on the card, we got Matt Jones taking on the surging Justice Torres. Man, honestly, from this point forward of the card,
Main event. every one of them.
these it could all be main events, as well as we could lose the winner from each of these fights and be gone. Like a lot of them.
Justice
Could,
is 7-0, and I think Jones is 8-2 or 9-2.
Wow, Justice he's a stud, man.
This is a
stud.
tough test.
Yeah.
Thankfully,
For
I
both of
hear
them.
Contender Series is almost full for this season, so hopefully we don't lose too many of these
there's
guys.
still a lot of weeks left.
I think
touche.
some of them can
Yeah.
still get in. Yeah.
Speaking of Yadier Devalle, is it Devalle? How the fuck do you say it?
Yadier
Del Valle.
Is it Valle?
Del Valle.
Valle. Listen,
You're from Houston by proxy almost at this
The Valley.
that
Devalle.
doesn't mean.
point. 2 L's equals a Y sound. De Valle.
De Valle.
Castillo. I mean, come on.
Fucking Yadier is fighting Michael Aswell, two undefeated top prospects in the
That fight is
state.
going to be insane.
I feel like that fight's a long time. It could have been made.
I think so.
Yeah.
a long
I
time
think
in the
so.
making, I know Yachty had some contract issues.
For sure. Thankfully, we
couldn't
were
get
able to
out
get
of.
him back here at home to fight.
What happened? Can you talk about that?
Well, man, he was with Combate, and I all respect the Combate, but it wasn't staying very active, and we were able to get him released from the contract, which is very rare for Combate,
Well, I heard like their contracts are 4 fights, no expiration.
for sure.
So
For
you
sure.
can go 4 fights, 4 years, 1 fight a year.
Exactly.
And
So
they can keep you.
they'll sit you on that bench, man. And he's one of those kids you already know, Coach. I want to fight. I want to fight. I want to fight. And he was really grateful and fortunate.
So
to,
he was
to be part
he
of
was at a
Fury.
point where he had to basically say, okay, I'll fight him just so I can get a fight to
Exactly.
get my 4th. Because I saw the last guy he was supposed to fight had like 18 fights or some shit.
Yeah. We're gonna fight that kid, and they wound up canceling that show,
And that's what helped
and
him.
that helped us
That's
get the
that's
leverage
great.
or his manager to get him out.
I think we're gonna keep him busy now if we have to.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, he's as long as he's
Ready
healthy
to go.
and close to weight, he'll fight all the time.
I mean, he's definitely he's not a guy that we wanted to leave.
No, not at all.
You know that was a guy, and again, it was one of those things where, listen, if you think you can go and whether it be Combate or PFL or another big branded thing and increase your brand and increase your net worth and do your thing, we've never been like,
And that's an
we don't
amazing
want-
thing that y'all
we
do,
don't want
man.
you
I
to do
love
that.
him, man. Like he's a great fighter.
Man, he's an amazing person.
and we got
You
him.
never held somebody hostage due to a contract.
Never.
We got him and Pluton, I think, at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can just kind of see how active Pluton was, and I used
Inactive Yachty was,
and
for
I used
sure.
to tell Pluton all the time, man, we got to get Yachty back. He's like, man, I'm talking to him, but he's stuck on this contract.
Man, he's so grateful to be fighting. I mean, truly is, man. Truly
Could there
is.
be a better time? Oh, look at this! I got those
That's all I
Jonathan
need.
Ivy highlights, hands down.
Now imagine that man walking around naked for 10 minutes.
Oh, I think. Oh, yeah. Oh, what's up, man? This dude is like so entertaining. I think this is where he tries to suplex homeboy.
I think so.
Oh, he's
Listen.
hyping the crowd up while he's in a guillotine,
He's hulking up.
and they're in shirts. Look,
Off the ropes.
I think that was Wes Sims he was fighting.
Oh, Wes Sims.
What's happening right now?
He's pumping the crowd up as he hits him, pumps the crowd up, hits more people. Like, the guy is
He's definitely a showman.
We're in a pro wrestling ring right now. All right.
Definitely a showman.
Talk about a dude who does. Oh, there's his elbow.
There's the people's elbow that Rich was talking about earlier. I can't believe that happened. The guy laid there and took that?
Oh, he finished the fight off of this.
What the fuck?
That's Wes Sims right there.
He's still fighting. Look.
Oh, my God.
What a G.
Wow.
Just, like, how do you not love this guy? And the problem right now, for those who don't realize, so his nickname's the Leg Lock Monster. Like, of those,
you don't want to go lay in this guy's guard.
No, of those, he's talking tattoos. Of these, it looks like my daughter got loose with Sharpies. Like, out of these 41 victories, I want to say that's big boy Chris just fought in the UFC.
Yep.
Yeah. I want to say a vast majority of his are by leg lock victory. He's amazing. But look, he has less tattoos there back in the day. But talk about a fun fighter, man. Like, this is a guy, like, you want to just watch and have around. He's a fun guy to be. Look, he bounce off the ropes.
He really likes the crane kick. He likes
Dude.
setting it up. Yeah.
I mean, it's a big.
Straight to the
I
nuts.
feel like I missed out on so much.
All right, speaking of miss now, before we get further, Michael Aswell, is there a better time for him to have taken the Yair fight? Like, he's on this roll. He's fighting his toughest guys he fought. He's beat a former champion now.
Yeah.
Like, this is
It's going to be a huge test for him.
100%.
How old is Yachty? 25?
25. He might have just started. He's going to turn 26. He's still.
And Aswell, I think, is 22.
Yeah, he's still a
22.
baby, man, and
So,
he's got such a bright future.
They're both in a great place.
That's the
This
thing,
is
man.
the time to make
You
this
never
fight.
want to lose, but whoever loses, it's not the end of anything.
Not at all.
You know, they both have unlimited potential.
Where do you, as a coach, because I know in the beginning of a fighter's career, we're kind of wary.
Sure.
Like, we want to get the right fights
Absolutely.
for the right guy. At what point, and it's not a fight number, but at what point do you know, like, he needs a test now?
It's just literally like with Eduardo Tejada that fought in.
I can't say it that way.
So
either.
so he's 4-0, but this next guy is a big step up, right?
Right.
4-0, 4 first round finishes. This next guy that he's fighting for you is a big step up, and
Yeah.
you just kind of know, man. It's like it's time. Let's see where we're at. The one thing you don't want to do is pad the record, get to the contender, to the UFC, and then get smashed.
Get exposed there,
The
yeah.
goal isn't getting to the UFC. We can get there. The goal is staying in there and doing well. You know, and I think kids like Aswell, like Yachty, I mean, all these young studs that you have coming up, man, it's limitless for them.
We got also the returning Leo Mana boy Martinez returns to take on Felipe Frayne. This is going to be this is my fight of the night.
Not Philippe.
Felipe, whichever one it is.
Welcome to Name
Hold on,
Correction.
why?
Name Correction Unleashed,
What you got? I know you're dying to say something.
featuring Rich
What is
Burmeister.
it? Say it. You were gonna say something.
No.
He's 6 hell.
Diego doesn't have
like-
enough howler in him to talk right now.
And then he stopped. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to.
So
What is it?
I'm good.
all right,
You
listen.
got some monkey spirit in you?
Halfway.
I've got this picked as my fight of the night. Two exciting
Mana
fighters.
boy.
Two exciting fighters who will not back down from each other. Felipe, whatever it is. Ephraim's last fight for us was 13 seconds.
Yeah.
Like something stupid. Yeah. Like extremely talented fighters. This is
16
a
and 6
crazy,
record.
crazy co-main event. And then we get to our main event. The 125 title is back on the line as our champ, Josh Van, has given up the title as he is fighting in Jacksonville this weekend. Shout out to Josh Van and all the other non-round guys. I don't.
We got to see him last Saturday night.
What
man.
is it? What was his nationality? He wrote it to me because I had
Josh?
Yeah,
Cambodian.
I don't think it's Cambodian.
I'm gonna go with that though.
I don't think it's Cambodian. No, he has like
well,
an
it's
awesome.
so you can pull it up. I guess.
He's Asian.
I'm gonna look it up. He has this
we
awesome.
went out and we saw him Saturday night as he prepares to go make his UFC debut.
Is it like Laotian or something? I don't know. He has this awesome like story and kind of like background,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I don't see
He's
it
From Laos.
anywhere.
His last name is actually like 7 names long.
Yeah,
Yeah.
His last name is Thong.
Yes, it's really not Josh Van.
WANG or
He's
something
shortened
like
it up
that.
for
Yeah.
marketing purposes.
Get in that ass.
But Josh,
Josh
take
up
it.
in that ass thong.
So he had it. he
So
he had
blowing
that
a
shot.
marketing opportunity.
He had that shot for Contender Series. Gave that up to take a short notice fight in the UFC.
Good for him.
Props to him. He's
It's
in
Patty Pimblett.
UFC fighter.
You see the guys?
Yeah,
I think you
looks like Dagestani Pimblett. So the 125 title's back
Yeah,
on
he
the line.
vacates the 125 title.
We got Alberto Trujillo taking on Josh Walker. And this is going to be. Let me make sure I say this correctly. If either of these fighters finish to get the title, they'll probably be gone.
Yes.
If we don't see a finish, I think they might need one more to get in.
Yeah, I agree.
At least.
You're in a division where, look, you've got Mick Maynard. That dude wants finishes.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't want boring flyweights, and neither of these guys are boring flyweights. But they have to try and finish the other guy who hasn't really been finished. This is a tough fight for both of these guys. Walker, outstanding. Like his last fight versus Eddie Fryer.
Friday.
I never say that.
I'm saying it white for you.
Frere.
It's his first
Friday.
fight at
Friday. That's how you say it. But
That was his first fight at flyweight. He took on the hardest hitting flyweight.
So he's
back in
7.
the state.
So this is what concerns me a little bit because he's 7-1. That was his first fight at flyweight, but as a bantamweight, he has no finish. So they were all decisions.
So, but could
There's
it?
one finish out of 7 fights.
But was it also that he was just didn't want to cut weight and was too small to have the power to carry over at 35? And now that he's down at 25, maybe what we saw against Eddie,
that power will translate over.
Yeah, maybe it'll translate. It needs to. It needs to, because if Mika said anything to us and he doesn't hide it, he looks for guys who has finishes.
Absolutely.
He pulls up his phone, he looks at it. How many finishes? You got 10 wins. How many of those are finishes?
Absolutely.
Then we'll go see who you finished against. But they want to see that first.
For these young fighters,
the
I think they
criteria.
have to,
Yeah, so
to
I'm
truly
hoping
understand
at
that.
125, he's just going to be a finisher.
I hope so too.
I think so. I think he
Same
can
thing
be.
with Trujillo, though. He's fought for us 3 times, and he's got 3 wins all by decision.
He's got 3 wins, and
But dominant
sometimes
decisions.
sometimes it's hard for us too, because we look at who they're fighting and we're like, man, we put you guys against some dogs. It's not easy to finish
Right.
these top level guys.
Absolutely.
But I want to see them finish.
100%. You have to.
Absolutely.
They're going to have to.
Yeah, they're going to have
finish
to get to that next level.
100%. And I think we're going to see it. I think one of those two. I don't know who it is. I'm obviously a little biased, being a war training center
guy,
guerrilla mob,
yeah.
but hey man, I'm interested to see whoever finishes, because I think either of those fighters can have a good career in the UFC. They both have
100%.
a lot of skills to be absolute world beaters, and I'm excited for that. Diego, plug in. This is where we'll plug in an ad. And then we come back. Okay, look at that. See how we do that? Look at that. Editing on the fly.
I like it.
Thanks for the
questions, Diego?
response.
What
Fuck
you
you
got,
guys.
We'll get into his coaching and his lifestyle.
You got something?
that was whenever I got stuck on the tour.
All right, so I've got questions for Bob Perez.
Okay.
As he is in here with us today. The question I'm sure you get all the time, everywhere. How hard does Derek Lewis hit when you're holding pads?
Actually, this camp, he's actually cracked me a couple of times. And he misses that mitt. He's like, move your head. I'm like, dude, hit the mitt. But man, he...
To your credit, you can take a punch, because I've seen you get cracked by him a few times.
I am not very good at anything. I'm just kind of tough, man. But no, Big D, man. I honestly, bro, you can't describe it.
Yeah.
And also his explosiveness. You see Derek, he'll move back or just kind of, lumber around. But when he goes, man, oh my God, it's so scary.
What was it like? Obviously, there's a learning curve for you with different types of fighters. Like, obviously, the way you hold for, say, a Macario, Jacob Berry, isn't the same way you hold for Derek Lewis.
sure.
What was that learning curve like when he first came to you?
Man, honestly, even to this day, we still stick with fundamentals. I don't really do anything fancy with really any of the guys, but especially with Derek. The one thing with Derek that I like to do, and I found this from the beginning in regards to learning curve, is I teach different tempos. So if you hit like a 2-3-2, it's at this tempo, cross or cross.
Right.
But you have a second tempo. That's the Derek tempo, because Derek is going to hit you so fast with those first 2 punches. He's going to have to see where his guy is at, how far away he is, and if he can get to him. So I think for me, the biggest thing to figure out was the correct rhythm for him. So we'll hold 1, 2, 3, 4, but we'll also hold 1, 2, 3, 4. So that was the toughest part for me. But he definitely hits mitts differently than
Man,
me.
I love
after
hearing
3.
you say
Oh,
that.
yeah.
I love hearing you say that. That's something we actually went over this week at our gym with guys. It was like, serious. For the most part, like everybody throws the same combos. Like it's the same shit. Everyone's throwing the same combinations, but it's the rhythm and when they're thrown, and then you change that for like again the way you throw a 2-3-2 versus the way Bob throws a 2-3-2. And then also you can change your own rhythm.
Absolutely.
Like I love hearing. I don't think enough coaches talk, and I got that from you. Like I've learning holding pads with you, and like I got that from you as well.
That
And
is
so it's
great to
awesome
hear.
to hear you say that because I don't think enough people talk about like the rhythm of a fight and like winning moments.
Yeah, absolutely.
In those fights,
Absolutely, 100%.
Speaking of moments, you've been with Derek pretty much every fight. Every UFC fight.
We weren't together for 2, but this will be our 29th.
Yeah, those didn't
our
count.
29th UFC together.
No one cares about those.
Nobody cares about
right.
the 31st.
29 UFC fights.
Yes, sir, man. He is. I'm so freaking
right?
proud of that guy, man. Yeah, I got with him 2013, right before he had just gotten in, and then unfortunately him and Coach Tony, God rest his soul, separated. And he came and talked to me, and that was it, man. But that guy, I mean, he's going to be a Hall of Famer no matter what.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and to see where he's come from, like with me as a coach, you know how I am. I genuinely love my fighters, but somebody like Derek, to see him change the way fighting allowed him to change his life, and him being just the savage that he is, it's beautiful to see.
Yeah.
You know when
Derek was the third Houston guy to go in, or
It was Pineda was the first. Pineda got in 2011. His first fight was January of
Depends if you
2012.
count KJ Noon.
And then right after him, it was Andrew Craig, Melanson, and then Derek.
Yep.
I believe that was it. But when Pitt got in, you're talking about finishing. At the time, not that it's easy to get in, but I think we've all developed so much. We have the proper avenues, the right people in our lives.
Right.
So when Pitt got in, God bless, it was hard, but he came in at a 15-7 record, which wasn't the best, but 15 finishes.
Yeah.
Right.
That was the
then he
thing
went
that did
in
it.
there and started finishing.
He fought Pat Schilling his first fight, and he finished. The second one, Mackin Semizir, he finished with a triangle. And then the third one was Justin Lawrence. He got that one on Kimura. Yeah.
I remember all those.
So what's it like with Derek pre-fight?
Man, fight week, generally Derek is big, funny, loving Derek. We're training, getting the weight down. And then after weigh-ins, I just leave him alone because at that time he kind of turns into the black beast, to an extent. And then it is painfully quiet in the locker room. The last fight, definitely there was some things going on here. It wasn't quite Derek, but that's okay. We learned from that. But Derek is a scary individual, and he's my family. I don't speak to that man pretty much unless he needs something. I'm like, you call me if you need something, because I just got to give him his space to get into his kind of bad place.
He is one of the most. First of all, no one knew because he really didn't get on the mic here in Houston. He hated doing interviews. He didn't want to talk to anybody. Like he didn't feel comfortable in front of the camera for a lot of the times. And so
That's
when
changed.
that personality like finally came out, I think a lot of people were caught off guard at this is a jovial dude. Like he's one of the guys. It's different now
He's got one of the best IGs.
Dude,
My God, bro.
He's become like such a massive superstar, and one of the things that I don't say caught me off guard because I've known him so long, but like I forget what event it was, one of the UFC events, and I'm walking by, and I didn't see Derek. Like it was dark, I didn't see him.
I'm going to tell him you said that.
I'm
100%.
You can tell him, and he'll be like, "Fuck that guy." But I was walking by, and like he took the time to grab me to say hi.
Dude, he's an amazing person, bro.
And he's already got like millions of followers at that time, but he still took the time to be like, "Hey, Rich, stop, dab me up, give me a hug," and he's just such a nice guy. And I'm so glad to see like how much his life has changed.
Absolutely. And I have had the discussion with him, like on what you're talking about.
Yeah.
When he started fighting, he didn't have a pot to piss in,
Nope.
and he was
Sleeping
extremely
on
poor.
couches at
Yeah.
gyms and stuff.
And we had that talk, and he was hungry and he was mean, and now he's made a shit ton of money. And a lot of times you can lose that fire. So when we started this fight camp that we're in now, I did have that kind of dad talk with him, that big brother talk that, hey man, I love you. I need you to get this back, and he's going to go out there and try to just maul this guy.
Does he know how big of a star he is?
Man, I really don't.
Because he
think...
drives the cars to make it seem like he's.
Oh yeah. You know, dude. Well, at one time he was like, "Man, I hate it when people like stop me. You know, how do they know it's me?" I'm like, "Derek, your truck is massive and it says the Black Beast on it."
It's either the truck or the Lambo.
Yeah.
I mean,
So I don't know if you guys remember. I mean, everybody remembers, but the 2017 Harvey,
dude, he was the man.
Derek had just got that white Chevy. It was lifted. That was it. And so my neighborhood, I live out in Katy and Cinco, and it was flooded. And we were in boats going back and forth, helping people. And there's this white dually that's driving through, pulling boats, pulling people, windows up the whole time. Didn't want anybody to bother him. He'd roll his window down like an inch to talk to people. Yeah. And he wasn't being rude. He was just trying to get stuff done.
Right.
Well, as I see him drive by, and our eyes lock, and he rolls his window down, chunks up the deuce at me, and takes off. It never came out in the news. Yeah. He was already in the UFC superstar, and he was out there for hours. Yeah.
It came out later because somebody said it.
Those of us who knew,
but he was just like under the radar, just genuinely trying to help people.
I took pictures that day.
Probably goes back to like his time in New Orleans. You know,
absolutely, man.
If you've been through some shit, you don't want to see anybody else go through shit.
Derek
is out there in the trenches.
Yeah, I don't know if you know this, but there was this one guy, and I think it might be common knowledge. He had like a Confederate flag thing, and like, you know, he's like stranded. And when Derek said, "Hey, come in my truck," the guy was like, "Man, I'm sorry about the flag." Derek's like, "I don't give a fuck about that. Get in the truck." You know, he's just a great freaking guy, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna show y'all these. So I was taking pictures for the Chronicle as well, and this is Derek.
You can look
at my man. This is my man. I don't know if it'll work.
I mean, we can give it a shot, but yeah.
I'll send them to you so you can post them up. But this is him driving by me, rolls his window down.
45-16.
This is him pulling officers through the water in their boats, like out there pulling these guys through.
Oh, guy's a stud, man.
And
beautiful.
And it was one of those things he didn't want to talk to nobody. He just wanted to help you.
Yeah. You know, he's never liked the interviews and stuff. And I don't know if you know this, but the reason he says all the crazy stuff is because you're right. He hated interviews. Yeah. A lot of times they try to kind of coerce you or trick you. Right. You know, they talked about his past a little too much, you know, and he always felt uncomfortable and nervous to do it. Yeah. So finally he's like, you know what? I might not even answer the question. I'm just going to say whatever I want.
My balls are hot.
Yeah. Yeah, and that got him the fight with DC, 100%. Mick was 100 on, you know, he was on 6 out of 7 that he won for that one. But Mick's like, man, I'm gonna be real with you. We're getting this shot because everybody's talking about him right now.
Yeah.
Dude, the funniest soundbite I've heard of him ever is when it comes to Ronda Rousey.
Oh God.
And there's a new one recently where DC's talking to him in an interview. And he said something about like Ronda Rousey.
She asked about
me. He's like, she asked about me. And DC can't continue the interview. Like he's gotta catch himself. Like
I like the line about Popeye's chicken.
Dude, yeah, he disrespected that
Popeye's chicken.
I know it started
off.
Does
he still have them as a sponsor?
No, he never truly did. But you know what, man?
They were giving him free.
They probably.
Oh, they do. Yeah. Well, if he would have won that title, there's one on Barker Cypress. It was free chicken for everybody. If Derek would have won between like 12 and 4. But you know, Derek, man, the whole Popeyes thing won. I think their chicken's pretty badass. But this was just a while back. He was kind of, you know, he will open up to me, you know, periodically, and we're driving by this Popeyes off 290, and he was like, you know, man, Bob, when I was on parole, I didn't have a car, and when I go to see my officer, I had to walk everywhere, and halfway home was like that Popeyes. He goes, so I'd stop in to cool off, they give me water and stuff, so I think subconsciously, even though the chicken, he's got a soft spot for them because they took care of him, man. They took care of him, you know, but he's a great person, man.
Yeah, it's cool to see that. I know he started off like wanting to say whatever to kind of get away from having to deal with them, but his personality has shined through more and more.
And
and he does lean into it somewhat. And obviously, the best IG like possible.
For sure.
He puts the people just getting he put that dude get eaten by the tiger shark the other day.
He's okay.
He's okay.
It probably got deleted.
He's got deleted.
Yeah,
He's okay.
He's okay. He's okay.
I love that.
Got
guy.
monkey spirit in you.
So besides Derek Lewis, who we all love and respect, how many fighters do you work with?
So between the boxers and the MMA and Muay Thai guys, we're probably at about 50 each, about 50 MMA and about 50 pro boxers. Then the amateur team, we're starting to grow back up, you know. So we got about 120 total fighters in the gym.
So how do you find the time?
Man,
to-
it's
for-
all
for these guys?
it's all that I do. Bobby and Coach Aaron handle the boxers. I handle the Muay Thai, the MMA. If they need help with boxers, you know, I'll help them. If I need help, they'll help me. But it's just prioritizing. And you see them at different times of the day, you know. So it's just an issue of prioritizing, really.
You know, when you look back to when you started and to where you are now, could you have imagined, like,
Bro,
this is
never,
what you would be
never. I
doing?
never thought I'd do this full time. You know, it was just kind of a hobby. I started in the, you know, mid to late 90s, and I started coaching in 05. But it was still kind of a hobby, you know, and Pitt was my first one. And his brother was my first champion. And I was sparring partners for him back in the day. Jose was absolute monster. But, man, I just like to do it. But now, like, I mean, I'm on the clock right now, and this is awesome. I'm drinking with my buddies, you know, talking. But, I mean, I'm very blessed, and I go to work in my Muay Thai shorts every day. You know, it's really cool.
I've got an old email address from you, and I want to say I have it saved under Bob the Scientist or something like that.
Oh, that's
Bob,
awesome.
Bob the Chemist or
Yeah,
like
yeah.
whatever it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't think people realize Bob's smart. Like
Sometimes.
like
I look really
we
stupid.
realize that. What the fuck was
Oh, no,
that?
I look like an idiot. There's no doubt.
exactly what I'm talking about.
I look like a moron. There's no doubt about it.
Yes, listen, just look at we listen. As you said, I walk around in my tie shorts most of the time with my mustache rolled up.
Tattoos and yeah.
Like, but Bob was one of those coaches who had to balance a full-time job.
Well, you worked at the eye clinic, didn't you?
I did that. I worked at the biology lab we were with the EPA. We're contracted to the EPA, and then I went to 4 ounce at night. And before that, it was Silverback. And I mean, I was putting in 90, 100 hours a week between everything. And then it got to a point, and my wife, God bless her, man, she's like, you're having success doing this part-time. You're really happy. And I love my other jobs, don't get me wrong, but like, she's like, you're really happy. I'm like, I'm scared. You know, honestly, I was scared because of the money that I had coming in, and fighting can be very, you know, difficult that way, you know, as far as finances. In her exact words, and that's why I love that woman, she's like, hey, just grow your balls and fucking do it. And I'm like, done. So, and I literally put my 2 weeks in that very next day.
You know,
Now your
also,
balls hit the water.
What year was that?
That was 2016. So I had still kept doing this. I just became a full-time coach in 2016. Before that, I was full-time hours, but a part-time coach. You know,
You were working and then still going off to the UFC to go corner.
Absolutely, and it was starting to get harder and harder. More UFC people and more traveling, but I still talk to my bosses all the time. They're like, "Hey, man, you ever want to come back?" I'm like, you know, I might. You know,
might
you
need
never
to
know.
one day.
Yeah,
Never
right.
know.
One day we'll see.
I mean,
Scandal
I'm going
might
to keep
come
coaching
across.
until I don't love it anymore. I still love it very much, but after that, man, I've talked to the UFC about possibly being a cut man for them, and you know, I'd like to commentate. And I don't know, man. I love this game.
You know, you've had a pretty storied career as far as like coaching and youth MMA goes. A lot of moments that have made Houston MMA involved you or involved 4 ounce from the fighters you're working with. One of the ones standing out as well again is you got married at the Arena Theater
Yeah.
in the Legacy Cage.
Absolutely, man. It was actually Jen's
about that,
idea.
yeah.
We were in bed.
The real legacy. The
real legacy.
The real legacy,
Yeah,
yeah.
100%.
The Mick Maynard legacy. That's what you mean by that.
We were just kind of in bed talking one night and talking about where we could get married. She's like, wouldn't it be cool if we got married for legacy? And I was like, well, I'll call Mick right now. It was almost midnight. And she's like, go ahead. I think she was calling my bluff. I called him. He answered, thank God. He said, done.
Yeah.
And that was
That
it.
had to do
That
well
was-
for ticket sales.
Yeah, that was it. Did
So-
it did?
family's
All the
gonna
family's
buy
gonna come
tickets.
out.
So it was at Mojo's when he got that call.
It was one of those things where, you know, thank God, you know, Jen and I, we've done well in our lives. We had everything we needed. And we got a little married to each other later in life. We'd both been married, you know, previously. And, you know, what do we want as a gift? Man, buy a ticket. Just come support the show, buy a ticket. And at the end of the night, Mick comes up to me with a big old check. And I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me. Not only did he give me commission, he gave me 100%, or me and my wife, of every ticket as his gift to us. And I'm like, man, like, what a fucking dude, man.
What an asshole.
If you want, we'll renew our vows, bro.
Yeah, but that was also, like you said, back in the time where Mick would pick up a phone quickly. Like now,
Oh, he's hard as hell. God bless.
Call him midnight now. He said Mexico.
Hey, so
Text me.
that man, I said, Mick, give me 24 hours if you want a private, please. Because, I mean, I'm booked,
Yeah.
you know, with fighters especially. And he'll call me that morning. Oi, you do a private? He's like, you train? And I always make time for him because he's been so good to myself and all of us in the fight community.
And you guys had a special relationship as well because he was training up there.
He fought for me, man.
All the time.
Yeah.
He fought for you guys, Oklahoma? Joe?
It was in Iowa. He fought a Muay Thai
that's right.
tournament, man. Makes a dog, man.
Yeah.
Makes a dog.
For a goofy looking fella.
Yeah.
Like he's done all right in his life.
Absolutely,
He's
man.
done all right
Absolutely.
in his life. All right, hey, speaking of some goofy looking fellas, does anybody watch PFL?
I honestly, if we're not fighting on the card, I kind of don't watch.
I feel terrible because this is one of the. You and I talked about this when we first got on Fight Pass, and we were like, well, like we have Fight Pass accounts now. Like, do we? And no, I didn't go get one.
I
because
watched Raytheon Stas. I watched that fight, but I mean,
he's Bellator, right?
was that Bellator?
That's
Okay, see, so no,
Bellator.
so no, I don't watch PFL.
So like, I'll watch.
I watch PFL if it's one of my ex guys.
Yes.
Right. I'll maybe try to tune in for that.
Maybe like I see enough fights and I've seen enough fights. I'm just like whatever. Like I watch Fury. I will watch now. Not as much nowadays. When we first started, we would go watch other promotions that were on Fight Pass to see like where are they doing terrible that we do better already. And maybe is there something that I like that they did that we need to change and do? Now, I mean, I don't look at anybody's shows. I don't care. They don't compare to ours, so it doesn't matter. But I watched some of the PFL stuff this week because I do like some of the fighters that are in these tournaments now. There's some really cool stories. But the big story this week was John Jones and Francis Ngannou facing off at this last PFL event. And it's funny because Francis basically told John told Francis, you don't want the smoke, you ran from me. And Francis like, I was there for years, bro. You weren't there. And what that part was cool to see him facing off and everything.
If I was Dana White,
Yeah.
I would be fucking livid. John Jones appeared on a PFL event.
Well, my issue is in a PFL shirt.
Even more so. That just drives my point home more. Dude, that is like, I don't know, man. To me, that's number one, so disrespectful to the UFC, your home organization.
Right.
And Dana White. I mean, that's who built you. That's who made you. I mean, yeah, he's like the GOAT. He's the best of all time. But, wow, I mean, I don't know. From a business perspective, it's like, how dare you go over there and do that?
Well, that would be like...
But maybe you cleared it beforehand. Maybe I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But I would never expect to see John Jones on a PFL event.
Could you see...
in a PFL shirt?
Well, could you see...
That's the worst part.
Wow.
Could you see Josh Van at an LFA event in an LFA shirt?
There's no way, man.
How would you feel?
Like shit.
That would piss you off.
Imagine Dana. You've got your best
I
fighter.
seen Hector Sainz in an LFA shirt this past weekend.
You son of a bitch, Hector.
I did.
You did?
I actually did.
Yeah, well, you know.
He's messing right now.
So let me ask you this, and I mean, from a promoter standpoint, something like that I honestly don't know. I just know fighting. Could it ever be something where you have the UFC champion like a John Jones, a PFL champion like a Francis, and kind of meet in the middle?
I think the way it happens really with us is they meet at Contender Series.
Yeah. So like right now we have our 155 champ El Sawadi is taking on Cage Warriors 155 champ George Hardwick at Contenders.
Gotcha.
So for us, it kind of happens.
And Van was
Just not under our umbrella.
Yeah.
On a bigger
Right.
stage.
And that has happened. That's how the LFA merger came
that's
around.
right. With the
it was
that's right.
Legacy and RFA.
RFA versus Legacy. There has been, Bellator has done some stuff with One, or was it what used to be Pride, but like One, they would do some stuff with them where they cross promote a little bit. But for the most part, there's too much of a risk. If John Jones was to go to the PFL and somehow get clipped by Ngannou,
understood for sure.
cash cow just
He
that makes sense.
legitimizes PFL. I mean, not that they're not legitimate, but I mean, it's like you're up here, they're kind of down here. You just brought them up to their level by wearing their shirt and appearing on their event.
It does have that old school wrestling feel.
You just gave them a ton of market value.
There to see?
Probably Ngannou. I don't know. I don't know who was.
I was like, man, maybe it was just like a
He had
setup.
a
just been
fighter,
going-
somebody that he trains with.
He might have just wanted to go to some fights. I don't know.
He was.
He should have. If it was
I don't
set
know.
up, he should have the
you're
wherewithal
right.
to be
I
like,
don't know.
I probably shouldn't do this. I probably shouldn't wear this shirt. There's gonna be cameras here. Me wearing this rival organization shirt, and then if it was set up.
Well, you know the guys
an
that
interview
Unless
situation
Ray gave
or
him
a
a check for
face-off?
100K
A
with the
face-off?
That
Oh
is-
my God.
is wild.
That should be a huge red flag. Nah, I really shouldn't do that. I'll stay outside the cage.
And not only that, the promoter stood between them when they faced off.
Yeah, he was
Oh
right
my
next
God,
to
if
him.
I'm
Wow.
Dana
So it
White,
looks
I am
like
fucking
like the making of a
furious.
PFL fight.
That's what
Yeah.
it looked like.
Yeah.
It could be the owners of the UFC wanting to maybe buy PFL.
No.
Not-
Because
Dana doesn't need to.
well, Dana came out and talked about
Those
that.
are all his old guys.
Dana's like, why would you buy PFL or Bellator? Because they've been talking about PFL buying Bellator.
Right.
Why would you come out and buy something that doesn't sell tickets and doesn't generate money? Now, Bellator has Viacom money behind them. PFL has whatever money behind
They're
them.
on ESPN
ESPN
Plus.
as well. But there's massive amounts of money behind them. So there's some money being made by somebody somewhere in order for them to still be around.
But Dana doesn't need them.
He doesn't need it at
all.
all. And Dana tried. And
Dana's got Endeavor money.
if you guys remember, Dana tried
got Dana.
when he sent
Yeah.
when he sent Chuck over to Pride.
That's right.
He did try. He felt they got screwed. He said he would never co-promote again. And he tried. They were going to bring Fedor to fight Randy Couture, and it was when M1 wanted to co-brand, and everything was done except M1 wanted to co-brand. And Dana was like, "Fuck you guys, we're not doing this." And so, on the like regional level for us, it doesn't make any sense for us to. First of all, there's no one. You have to kind of go like up CFFC up north, maybe in LFA on whatever part of they have. And even then, it's almost kind of like we're all trying to do the same thing. We're all trying to get our guys to the UFC. So why have them, take like is the juice worth the squeeze?
Right.
Yeah.
For the fighter, I don't know if a fighter gets any more credit from like if Josh Van had went and beat whoever LFA's champion is, he would win anyway.
Yeah.
So like why?
For sure, man.
Why do that? Plus, we want to have straight out of Fury. Like that's what we do, and you're starting to see that evolution now with this group of guys, these Aswells, these Torres, these Hector Signs, these guys coming up who all their fights, minus one ofs here and there, are going to come out of Fury all the way.
Ice
For
baby.
sure.
Oh, we got Ice Baby over
Hey,
here.
can you hand me the bottle?
Yeah, man. How about
Thanks,
it?
man. I didn't want to interrupt.
Stop pussyfooting around and give me a bottle over here.
Sponsored by
Get your monkey spirit in you.
Oh, Bob Perez, get that monkey spirit in you over there today.
I washed my hands yesterday, guys.
So what do you think, Bob? Your first encounter with Howlerhead whiskey.
You know what? McMaynard, send me a case. It is absolutely amazing. This is my first time. It
Yeah.
is amazing, man.
I didn't expect that I would like it. We were
I know you
were
hear banana flavored whiskey, and you're like,
Oh,
what?
dude, it's good.
it's so good.
Throw me your cup.
we were at an event,
Yes, sir.
and
Oh God.
they were there was like a howler lounge
Hook you up,
where they were
baby.
serving Howlerhead.
Really?
And Eric got it first. Eric got like a Howler and Diet Coke or something like that. And I was like, no, just give me a whiskey and something, And I came back and
Thank you.
he was like, no, this shit's good.
It is
I'm like, really?
Damn good.
I go back there and tried it, and ever since, dude, I'm cracking out Howler.
I mean, it doesn't really taste like
Yeah.
banana.
No, it doesn't,
per
but
se.
it's got that kinda smooth
It's just
sweetness
so
to it.
smooth. There's a little sweet. Yeah, it's perfect.
Man,
Are you making him a fucking snowball? How much ice did you give him?
Hey,
gotta
I'm not going to
sober up,
break
man.
the ice
Howlerhead's-
up on the air, man. It'll
Howlerhead's-
melt when you pour the Coke over it.
That's a Howlerhead snow cone.
Trust me.
yeah.
Trust me. I'll do it
it's
for you.
not a
if
bad
you need me
idea
to.
for the summer, man.
No, not at all.
I do have.
And it's like 115 degrees today here in Houston.
Get quiet. Get
Got
quiet.
that monkey spirit.
Break it down.
Oh yeah.
What are we doing?
Let it out, baby. Let it out.
About massage.
Nothing but his hands.
As far as being an MMA coach, do you have like a pocket of sayings or anything like that during the time where you need to talk to them during the corner?
Yeah, Bob says, Jesus, man, what are we doing?
What the fuck are you doing?
So if you look at how I cornered even 10 years ago, it's totally different than now. So I will have certain bullet points that I'll use. Something, I obviously give technical instruction, but it might be one key word to light Eric up, like make him fight with everything he's got. And that's just knowing each fighter. So it is relative for every fighter. It's never the same for each one. My primary goal in between corners is to get them calm, to give very simple instruction of what we need to do. And then if I need to, I'm going to use that key word or phrase to kind of light a fire under them, but everybody's different. When you look at Derek with Volkov, I gave him technical instruction, but I'm trying to get in his ass, man. Like, man, you're getting your ass kicked. We need to fix this. If you look when he fought here in Houston back in 2015, I believe, I had to kind of whisper in his ear. I forgot I'm mic'd up, and I whisper in his ear. We're losing 2 rounds going into the third. I'm like, you need to do this for your boys. And I was referring to his children. I was like, this man's fixing to take half your fucking money. And you see his eyes like, oh shit. Like, he's right. I got to go. And he finished the guy. And I'm not saying my words made him finish, but sometimes it can be a good reminder of, hey, man, you're here to do a job.
Yeah.
You know, but to answer your question, in short, it's different for everybody.
Who's the most fun in between rounds?
Man, dude, honestly, all of our fighters, I would say, are very easy to work with.
Yeah.
As far as fun, none of them. I mean, like, they're in a fight, you know.
Yeah.
Nobody's really like.
I say that because I've had a few guys who were good, but wanted to like crack jokes in between rounds.
Yeah, and they'll do that a lot of times to deal with their nerves or
Right,
whatever, which is, I think, totally normal. But I can't say that I've ever really had.
Do you
something
have
like that.
Do you have a walkout that stands out to you? I know one that stands out to me. I'm assuming it's the same thing for you. But I just want to hear from you. Like, what walkout of yours with that fighter was like, holy shit, look at this.
So my first UFC in 2012, January 20th of 2012 with Pitt. I was like, and it was empty. You know, he's a first fight, and it was
Where at?
empty. That was at the Bridgestone Arena in Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay.
And it was just walking out with him. And I met Pitt right out of high school. You know, he's a baby. And I'm like, good for you. Holy shit. You know, look where we're at. But I'd say when Derek fought DC in Madison Square Garden, bro, that walkout, I'm super nervous, especially with Derek, because these massive men, one punch, that's it, one mistake. But I felt completely at ease. And I don't mean this to sound like a cop-out, but I'm like, we won. We fucking won. Whether we win the fight or lose the fight, we fucking won. Derek, look what you just did. Look what you did. And I'm lucky enough to bring you along, or to come along with you.
Yeah.
You know, you went from a shit life to walking out in Madison Square Garden for the, UFC heavyweight world title. I mean, it gives me chills because but that fight is the most memorable because not one nerve.
Incredible.
Not one nerve. I'm like, that's fucking DC. What are we gonna do? We're gonna go try to fight him. You know, it's DC. You know, he's one of the GOATs, and but that's the one that stands out to me.
Man, I know just from like a fan standpoint, I've been to a bunch of Derek's fights, been able to see them live a bunch of times, but the fight itself wasn't the greatest. But him versus Cyril Gahn here in Houston, that crowd pop.
I've never heard a crowd like that.
The crowd pop that he got when he came out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mick called me the next day and said, Bob, I've never heard a crowd like that.
I was sitting there. I got goosebumps now. Like, I've got goosebumps now.
Comes out to
so
Fat Pat,
awesome.
crowd
Yeah.
goes fucking nuts, bro.
Well,
What about Cyril Gahn? How did you feel whenever Cyril Gahn trolled everybody? Everybody thought Derek was coming out at first.
Yep. No, that was actually really smart on his
was
part.
It
great.
really was.
So,
They were cheering him as he
Yeah, everybody thought Derek was
until
coming.
they
I
saw
was
him on the
recording
screen.
it.
Like, boo. They saw him on the screen, but then
And it just flipped.
I think that also made the Derek walkout even louder.
Even better.
It was
Like,
crazy,
fuck you.
bro.
This is our guy.
That, I mean, for Mick to call me and say, dude, that is the loudest crowd I've ever heard.
Yeah.
And the one thing I can say for those Houstonians listening to this, like, Derek truly loves this city. I mean, he truly
does,
loves
man.
this city, man.
He does.
He's our, at this point, he's our guy.
100%.
He's our guy.
And I hope we have 50 more of them, 50
Yeah.
more Dereks come out of Houston, man. Because Houston, I think, is really a hotbed. I do have more and more UFC fighters hitting me up from all over, asking me about camps and so forth. And I think we're there as a city. We've got the knowledge, we've got the talent, with teams and coaches. But it's like, okay, Syndicate, Extreme Couture, so you're in Vegas. You've got Colorado training at elevation, weed's legal here. You've got Cali. And I don't think that fighters for the most part have seen kind of Houston as kind of a fun place to do camps or to train or to move to. But man, I love this city. I wouldn't live anywhere else. And I think that we have the resources to, even if they have to go to your gym, my gym, we'll get them ready, for sure.
It's odd that as big as the city is, and as long as like Houston MMA has been a thing here and how well it's done, that we haven't seen more fighters come out or more fighters come to Houston
Why do you
to
think
grow.
it is?
I think old reliable, like they know that if I go to Denver, I have elevation. If the weed and the elevation, all those things you mentioned,
So,
like,
when we're not in camp, we can still have fun out here and party a bit.
yeah,
and,
there's still, for whatever reason, there is. I know. I mean,
Houston is like a really well-kept secret as far
Yeah,
as like, you
I
know,
truly believe it is.
Yeah,
I don't know if there's a place outside of California that has more black belts per capita.
Dude, it is
it's
insane, man.
ridiculous.
It is insane.
The number of coaches you can go to who
We have so many good teams out here, man.
So I think one, I really do think as you see Fury grow and this next wave, dude, literally by this time next year we could have 10 to 15.
That is absolutely
Houston guys
insane. Absolutely
in the
insane.
UFC. And I think you'll start to see that change start to happen now.
I just picked up John McDessie. He hit me up.
yeah.
So 13 years in the UFC. He's on the last fight of his contract, and he hit me up. He went back to Canada. He's working on his paperwork to come here for his camp. We had a fight offer. I didn't like it, so I want to make sure that we get the right one. He's a little older, but the point is, he sought us out. He said he's never had, and he's from TriStar.
Yeah.
And he was just, dude, this training is different. And I'm like, well, thank you. And I think once they're here, it does open their eyes.
It does. It's just getting them here.
Yeah.
But I think as you see, the more guys have success, the more people will come in. Remember, nobody was going to Albuquerque.
Right.
Because it wasn't until GSP and Rashad Evans and Diego Sanchez
Sure.
and that initial group of guys were putting it. Nobody wanted to go to Iowa and be in Bettendorf.
yeah.
Nobody wanted to go there until Jens Pulver won and until Matt Hughes and Tim Sylvie. God, I feel old as fuck. Like until those guys had won. But now what's different is Bettendorf wasn't a city that could maintain people wanting to live there.
Right.
Albuquerque it's kind of a college town, so you still see a good group of guys going there, and there's still some good active fighters. H-Town, dude, there is not a better freaking. I've traveled all over this world.
I'm telling you, man.
And there is not a better city to live in, whether it's food, entertainment,
Houston is
arts,
dope as fuck.
affordable
culture.
cost of living.
Yeah,
I mean,
everything.
All of it is
everything is here, and I think these next few years are going to kind of lead a revamp, a generational change of Houston MMA fighters. And I think gyms like yourself, Bob, I think guys like Eric and Fury, these are the things that are changing Houston MMA.
I
and the
agree,
next 5
man.
years is going to be amazing.
I agree. I've had some coaches that are very high level from big gyms are like, coach, you fixing to blow up, and I don't know what they mean by that. I'm trying, I stay humble or whatever. But yeah, that's long gone, bro. I got fat a long time ago. I'll get fatter, But no, bro, I love this city, and like I said, some amazing gyms, and honestly, man, if it wasn't for Saul. None. I mean, we'd be here, but not like the way South paved the way.
Agreed. I think if we've talked about like Mount Rushmores of Houston MMA before, and I think it starts with Saul Solis.
100%. It has to.
I think you have to put Mick's stupid face on there.
100%.
And then there's interchangeable pieces.
You got to go.
That's a cool thing, though. That's a cool thing.
Depending on what iteration, what part of it you came from.
Master P.
How do you not? How about this? How do you not put Derek Lewis on the Houston MMA?
You have to.
Mount Rushmore.
You have to.
He is the greatest fighter to come out of H-Town.
Absolutely.
So now
we knew that, but
you got one more spot. Like, do you give it to a coach who like yourself, Bob, who's got all these amazing people? Do you give it to like a Colin Contrell who was there in the beginning?
You know what? We just make it interchangeable, and every year we'll switch it out, man.
Do you have a Mexican wall and put Eric up there somewhere? Like,
I'm Mexican too.
Yeah. Well, how about that mustache?
French Bob.
Hey, where can fighters, fans, where can they go learn more about Kru Bob Perez?
Man, I always try to put content that is good for people on my Instagram at Kru Bob Perez. I don't hold Instagram pads. I hold real pads. I show techniques that were truly beneficial because I want to spread the word. I want to give good technique. I want to just pass it on. I mean, honestly, that's what martial arts is about. It's about passing on. So I'd say that's the best way. Well, the best way is to come to the gym.
Yeah.
Main Street Boxing Muay Thai, 1612 Austin Street. Just come on.
Y'all have classes over there all day?
We start at 7 a.m. We finish at about 8:30 at night every day.
From what time?
I'm usually there for just the training. Usually, it depends. It could be 7 a.m. till 1. It could be 9 till 2. And I taught beginner Muay Thai in the afternoon since 05, so 17,
what would be
18
the
years.
best class for me and Rich to come in?
100% the MMA on Tuesdays and Thursdays. 100%.
Because we are older now.
Oh, dude.
We're not trying to be in there with fucking Yair.
Bob, you've
Everybody's
seen
trying to
his,
make a name by
you've
knocking
seen
on
his
Derek
student.
and
I'm
Rich.
a terrible student.
Oh yeah. I tried to help him. He was beyond help.
Look, hey, listen. I'm gonna give y'all a quick
Everybody's
glimpse.
gonna want to beat me up.
Oh no, dude! Oh, they're gonna go. You're gonna be knocking people out.
I'm gonna
They're
give
just
you,
be dropping. They
give
want
you
to get on the
guys
show.
like a quick glimpse into working with Bob. So I've been lucky enough to not just be like a friend. I've been a student of Bob's. I've went out there and I've trained with him. And a few years ago, yourself and Corley offered up like, hey, we're going to take a select group of coaches. We're going to show them how to hold pads correctly, and we're going to certify you guys in our system. And I was like, sign me up.
Yep.
I get there, and it's
You
me
know
and
that was 2015.
Jesus, I don't want to talk about it. It was me and my wife show up, and there were some other people there. I don't know if any of them. A big group didn't stick around. Like,
Right.
they didn't make it through the first
They
day.
didn't make
'cause
the cut.
It was hard.
No thanks.
It wasn't easy. I threw. So one of the things, like, we all not only had to learn how to hold pads, he wanted to see us hit pads as well. I threw a switch kick. I can't fucking switch kick.
No.
The moment I threw a switch kick, Bob goes, "Don't ever do that again." It wasn't. Let's fix it. It was like, you don't do those things. You know how to wrestle, right? I'm like, yeah, I can wrestle.
That's it, man.
And
We'll have Sam.
let her do those things.
Yeah.
So, like, man, I'd love to go back out there and train.
Dude,
but
you guys
I
are
can tell
always
you,
welcome.
As a fight fan, as a friend, as a student, man, it's awesome to see what you've done.
Thank you.
And thank you for everything you've done for the town. Thank you
Thank
for what
you.
you've done for Houston. And again, I cannot wait to see what the next few years bring.
Thank you, man.
And again, man, thank you to all of our amazing sponsors. We'll plug in some more ads for those beautiful things. And Wayne, it's time, baby.
Hey guys, the time for talk is over. This has been Fury Unleashed.
Dude, that was easy.
That was awesome, dude.
Awesome.
We can.